Now, we do not need an invitation for everything. This is something to understand. When it comes to the projector strategy of wait for the invitation, we're primarily looking at auras connecting, two people coming together. It's a mechanical process. We need to be seen and recognized by the person we're speaking with. Otherwise, we're going to feel bitter. So it's a mechanical process of seen and recognition, right? So if it only involves you and you have the resources, you have the time, then what are you waiting for? If you're inspired to create that artwork, if you are inspired to go to the movie theater, if you are wanting to go for a run, you don't need an invitation for this stuff. You don't need an invitation to clean your room. You don't need an invitation for this stuff. But the moment someone else is involved, this is the easiest way for me to say it. The moment someone else is involved is the moment we need an invitation. So this is where it comes back to the kind of traditional way of talking about it in terms of invitations for the big things like jobs, work, relationships, because it involves someone else, right? We cannot sell to someone without the interaction. Like it involves someone buying from us. We can't be in a relationship unless there's another person because it's a relationship. So as soon as there's someone else involved, as soon as there are big resources beyond our means, we need an invitation. We need recognition to ensure the mechanical process is correct, that we're seen and it's going to flow. So if it doesn't involve anyone else and you want to go for a run and clean your room, do it. And I tend to find, especially for people like self-projected projectors, but for all projectors, of course, is that when you're feeling inspired, like to create the business or to create like a minimum viral product or to create this artwork, that tends to lead to something later down the line. And if you don't follow the inspiration, and you don't have to, but there's nothing to show. As in, imagine if you followed all your inspiration to create the artwork or to go for a run because you're inspired, because it genuinely, you're not trying to prove yourself, you're not trying to be overzealous or overly loyal, you're just doing it because you want to do it. It starts showing and you start getting invitations for that stuff. But if you never did the run or you never did the art, you'd never be noticed as an artist, you'd never be noticed as an athlete. So if it doesn't involve anyone else, go right ahead. What are you waiting for? Permission? Invitations aren't permission. As soon as it involves someone else, though, is that mechanical process. Projectors need to be seen and recognized. Now, this is where it kind of overlays with a big question I get from projectors around invitation around business. Like, I want to run my own business. This is where the experimentation comes in. I'm sure some real strict human design people would say to you, well, unless you're invited, don't do it. Now, here's my take on this because I have a bit more of a flexible approach to this. It's very likely that you are wanting to run this business because you've already been recognized for whatever it is that you're doing. You really enjoy flower arranging, and someone has seen this and gone, you should have a business in this. I'd buy from you. Hello, invitation. Or you might naturally be coaching your friends and they go, you're really good at this. You should study, get your qualification, and then be a counselor or whatever it's going to be. So there's often an invitation up until that point. But in terms of this selling process, well, and here's something interesting that Ra said. Ra said that projectors are here to provide stimuli for generators. Generators have an availability of energy. They're here to respond to life. If there's nothing to respond to, then how can they tell you? So offer it up with a voice, right? I'm thinking about starting this business. Offer it out with like a minimum viable product. Like, this is the thing that I want to sell. Or explain the coaching program you want to do. I want to coach people with da-da-da. And they're like, if they respond as a yes, that's you've got your invitation. Yes, please, I'd love to. Can I sign up as a client? There's your invitation. Remember, invitation, then authority. So it's not just go with it because it's an invitation. You have to decide at that point with your authority, but offer stimuli to the world. Generators can respond yes or no, and that gives us the external timing because our timing as projectors is often ahead of the game, sometimes for the wrong people. We're often bang on though. It's just we're ahead of the game, we're ahead of time. So the invitation is confirming the external time of things. That's what we need. We're trying to take the guesswork out of life, right? The invitation is saying you can walk down that path and it won't be a waste of energy. But if we're starting a business or trying to get into a relationship with someone, there's no signpost, no invitation. we're gonna burn out. There might not be a relationship at the end of that route and you've been trying to chase this person for 6 months. Or there might not be a business. You might go bankrupt at the end of this just because, like, there's no invitation. No one's buying anything. Really passionate about this. So it's an active wait. We do not need an invitation for everything. But when it involves someone else, we need an invitation. Now, the reason for this is a lot of projectors imagine the invitation as something outside of themselves. This person's invited me into this relationship or this job or this opportunity. And it feels like we're kind of stepping into someone else's world or going to that country or yeah. But if you had your eyes closed or if you just like do a little bit of meditation or mindfulness, you always realize no matter where you are, if you're literally going to another country or you're going to someone's house, you are always within you. You are always within you. You are never leaving your body. You're always within your own experience. So invitations are not people inviting us into the world or invitations inviting us to other places, even though, yes, there can be some of that involved. It's inviting them into our world. Invitations are our only form of gatekeeping as a projector. When we get an invitation, we can accept or decline the invitation. And when we accept it, they're in our bubble. That is it. They're going to take up our mental space, our energetic space, our emotional space. Doesn't matter if they're on the other side of the world, it's still within our space. Or we can decline it and say no. And then it leaves our bubble. Like, no, you're not allowed in. Gatekeeping. So, invitations are a point of navigation, a point of do I want to turn left or right? Do I want to take this job or take this relationship or leave this thing? Because there's invitations out. That's a whole other conversation. Invitations are navigational points. We do not need an invitation for everything. The wait is not passive. Go create, be inspired, live life, offer up stimuli, dance with generators, offer them up stimuli, see if it's a yes, see if it's the right external timing. You don't have to know the answer. Get out of your mind and action it in terms of speaking. That's what we call outer authority within human design, and everyone has it. Speak it out loud and see what the world responds to it as. Now, when I mention we're here to be recognized for ourself, we're not here to be recognized for our not self. We're not here to be recognized as people that are just constantly on the go and overly productive and overly loyal and people pleasing. We're not here to be recognized for that. We're here to be recognized for the colored in parts of our chart. We're here to be recognized for our uniqueness. And that is something we can discover from human design. So a lot of people, especially projectors, and you would have maybe heard my other talk on projector paradox of not understanding ourselves and blocking ourselves from being seen and recognized because we can't see ourselves. That when we understand who we are, when we understand the elements of our true self, we can then start seeing the correct invitations come through. And those correct invitations feel like a perfectly shaped mold for you. Like only you could fit this mold. This is a U-shaped hole, and someone else just wouldn't be able to fit. And we can learn about who you are from your chart. So, if you do want to learn from human design about who you were designed to be recognized for and what you're not designed to be recognized for, then that's where a chart reading comes in. That's where you can receive the validation, receive the permission, receive the clarity on what you are designed to be seen to be doing and not, And one-on-one sessions are available. Booking in for an hour with myself, IHDS certified quality readings for projectors specifically. This is a very rare offering in the human design world. You can book onto them through the projector website, and I would be more than honored to look into your chart and to explain what it is that you're here to be recognized for and what it is that you're not here to be recognized for, so you can align with those correct invitations and feel empowered to use your authority, not your mind, to make decisions. I hope this is insightful. Save this, listen to it again, because mastering the invitations is one of those keys to really stepping into an aligned life. I hope you feel a little bit more empowered from the invitation piece that I've presented today. And I wonder what you guys think. Speak soon.